Good evening, everybody. Michael Devine here, Gray Matters Radio, back from a week vacation. Because, let's be honest, even the doctor, even America's counselor needs a little bit of a vacation. But of course, I tried having a good vacation, and I did. I had a really good vacation, Siesta Key, Florida. But even on vacation, I get pissed off about things. Like, literally, I purposely put my phone down, and then I still get pissed off. So I'm like, well, I had to wait a week to get it out. So I'm looking forward to tonight's episode. So
you're not only America's counselor, you're America's angriest counselor.
I am an angry kind of counselor. You guys know that, though, man. That's why, whenever I decided to do a radio show, I'm like, I need my friends kind of here, because there's anyone going to keep me honest. Like, even if I made it big, I can always count on my friends to knock me down like 17 notches. But then I also get kind of frustrated. I get kind of loud. I sometimes bottle things up, and I say things at the most inopportune time to maybe the people I should say it to, but maybe I should have said it to, 6 months ago, and not in the way I said it. So that's why I need you guys here. So guys, hey, Bill, armchair quarterback, what's
Michael,
up? What's
hello,
going on,
everybody.
buddy?
Good to be back.
I know. So then we got like a random cast of characters. We got Murph, the Magic Tone, joining us again. What's up, buddy?
Hello, everybody. How you doing tonight?
Then we got Stelzer. You may know him from episodes of I Play a PsyOp on My Best Friend. So, and apparently I didn't piss him off too bad, so he's back for more, apparently.
Yep.
Well, someone's going to tell you how you're wrong, so why not bring in Ryan?
That is true, man. So, Stels, welcome back, buddy.
Good to see you.
Yeah, man.
That's
So, boys, all right, so me laying on you. So I gotta set this one up. I gotta tee this up for everybody. So everyone who listens to the show knows I go on little rants, and it's usually like one thing that I read that then gets me like, I gotta talk about this week, right? So, true to form, it happened this week. So I'm on vacation, right? Good. We'll say I got to keep this person completely confidential. I promised them I would do this. So, what if say somebody that I know brought something to my attention. Now, in my practice, I work a lot with people, help them get into college, figure out what they want to kind of do. So this is something that's kind of up my wheelhouse. And literally, I wrote the book Failure Launch, available on Amazon, about college kids just aren't really doing much of anything. So yeah, once again, this is something that's very near and dear to me, right? So basically, long story short, so now in the state of Texas, okay, my old state that I called home for 13 years. So every state school has a representative that they nominate for the school. All right, and it's cool. I mean, it's like, especially if you want to get into politics or like get like a government position, state position. It's a very, you want to have it basically. Right. So. And it's a representative to the governor's office. So it's pretty cool, right? So how it works, bunch of kids will submit applications basically for it. And the school dean will basically go through a little process, interviews, look at your grades, and then they will nominate somebody. Now, 99.99999% of the time, the person who wins it is always going to be the person who the dean. It's only happened maybe like one other kind of time. I think it was like 50 years ago or something, right? And I'm sure it was like extenuating circumstances.
They're going to be the 99.9% of the time.
Right.
The dean.
Yeah, they're always going to go with the dean's representative,
the
right?
Dean's representative.
The deans, who they recommend, basically. So, long story short, the person who was nominated at this school didn't get the position. Now, this person, apparently, from my understanding of what went down, they didn't necessarily think anything was amiss. They kind of thought it was weird that they were the chosen representative, but they didn't get in. But it was kind of like, all right,
did a scandal pop up? Maybe some.
So this is where it gets interesting, right?
Some photos from.
So apparently, what happened? Somebody from the governor's office called apparently the person who didn't get in and laid out, going, "Hey, listen, I'm telling you this because I vehemently disagree with it." But long story short is that a son of a major donor, an oil donor, to Governor Abbott's his election campaign, had a son who went to the very same school, found out his son didn't get it, or I think the son didn't even apply technically for it, and basically went to Governor Abbott and went, "Listen, either my son gets the position or I'm not giving you any more money."
Yep.
So and then, of course,
Sounds
what happened?
Right.
So then what happened? Yeah, and so
hey, let's do a recount here. Hold on.
Now, mind you, nothing illegal. I mean, I'm not saying the government did anything illegal, but I heard this, and the person that was telling me this, they were even shocked at it. And there's no evidence of it. I mean, it was simply just someone from the governor's office going, "Listen, this is what went down. I disagree with it. I don't want to sit on this." So here you go. But of course, I mean, no one's going to pick a fight with a sitting governor of the largest state, in the country, right?
Seems like an uphill battle.
Yeah. So, but it pissed me off because to me it resembles what was going on out in California with all the celebrities, right? We have people that are wealthy that already have the upper hand in life. Their kids are going to be set. I mean, regardless of what school they go to, they're fine.
Oh.
And then, yeah, and everyone is up in arms about it because it's the wealthy that don't need any help are pulling strings to get their kids even more help. They don't even need it, right? And so here we have another incident of a wealthy oil guy who, dude, you're a billionaire. You're an oil guy. Why does your son need more help? And to pull strings, and then the governor goes along with it. And it's like...
Kid should probably be Billy Madison in anyway, I mean, why wouldn't you just Billy Madison?
Exactly. And it's like, and the thing is, like, apparently I did my research. I mean, the kid, I'm not going to name any names because if I say the school and everything, I'm going to give some stuff when I promise I wouldn't do that.
Can we guess? And you kind of give me a wink and a nod if we
I don't, honestly, it's a smaller school that I don't even think exists.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like and the thing, it's just, to me, it's signifying what is wrong in this country. Now, I know I got some Trump supporters in the room, and if the slogan "Make America Great Again," it's a catchy slogan, right? I mean, you got to give it to, right?
It's pretty good.
And so the thing I've been kind of doing this running theme of is that if we really truly want to make America great again, how can you make America great again when the wealthy who already have everything are using their clout to make it even harder for everyone else to have a level, even playing field? To me, it's impossible to make America great again when the people who have everything are pulling even more strings to make it even easier for their kids, their friends, their families to. And it's just.
Do you think though that's kind of? I mean, I know we want to make America great again and everything. And it's a good catchy slogan. Obviously, it helped.
Winner, chicken dinner.
I was just gonna say, doesn't the spoil go to the victor, so to speak? I'm not saying it's right.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of a shitty thing to do, quite honestly. But do you think it kind of goes with the territory? I mean, let's be honest. I mean, historically speaking, the folks with the money are going to get more breaks. Are going to get more favors. Generally,
the rich keep getting richer.
It is true.
Right.
Yeah, and
I'm not saying it's right,
yeah.
but isn't that just kind of like? I guess what I'm saying is, how do we really change that? I'd love to.
Now we're talking about human nature, and
that's not even just America. That's just the way society.
Well, and that's where, and this is where I think conservatives and liberals really kind of have at it with each other. It's like, what is the role of government, and what is the role of government in managing human nature? And that's a problem because this is human nature, right? You want to have the best opportunity for your kids, but then there's a scene in the Second Wall Street where a Shia LaBeouf character asks, I can't remember the Gordon Gekko like character, not him, but the younger one, and he goes, "Well, what's your number?" And he just goes, "More." And to me, even though it wasn't exactly the greatest of movies, that to me signifies the wealthy in this country. I just want more, and I've earned the right to have more and spend more, and it's not my fault you weren't wealthy and don't have the advantages. If you had it, you'd be doing the same damn thing.
In those kind of situations, I think when you're dealing with the ultra wealthy, not the people that are well off, I'm talking people that are filthy rich. It almost reminds me of like playing a video game, which we all kind of like video games here. Let's say you have the code. It doesn't matter what game it is. You have the code to have infinite lives or infinite money or infinite ammunition or whatever your game is. That's kind of what these folks have. And it's like, so what's the point of playing? It's just fun. So why do you want to have this award? Because it can be had by me. I kind of feel like in some ways, the ultra wealthy, they kind of feel like that when it comes to things like that because they don't need that award, like you said.
Yeah.
It's not going to help. It's probably going to help the person that didn't get it, who probably really needed it and worked hard for it. You don't need that. It almost reminds me when they hear about they give celebrities honorary doctorates from colleges they never went to, and I'm like, what?
I left grad school.
Shit
Like that business. I'm not gonna lie.
Just give those out.
Well, I left my PhD in my 5th year because I was just like I didn't want to do research anymore. So I got my master's, and I got a very expensive master's degree. And I left in my 5th year. I was like a year and a half away, and I go, fuck this, I'm done. And then now you're handing this shit out for free. Like, can I get one? Like, what do I gotta do? Like, they get a free,
I get 2.
And it's usually to like people that didn't even go to the school. It's just like, oh, hey, how you doing?
And it's like, hey, I pay my student loans. Like, can I get like, after 15 years, can I get like a cookie and like an honorary doctorate just because I kept paying? I mean, it's.
Well, and you had kind of said, not to jump ahead, but we were talking about the cost of college in general. I mean, they pay certain people, political figures, how many hundreds of thousands of dollars
just to be
a commencement speaker?
Well, and this is
Did
what's
you pay
interesting.
like that for that?
What didn't Bill or Hillary? Didn't they pay like $100,000?
Well,
I'm sure I'm getting that number wrong. And I know he's an ex-president, and I get all that, but
So this is a good segue, right? So my brain started kind of going into like wealthy and the cost of college because everyone is, I will say, bitching and moaning about the cost of college, right? And I do think that the costs are absorbent, but on the show, I'm always talking about it's about asking the right questions. And I find that the media, politicians, I think strategically, they throw out the wrong question because they don't want to ask us. They don't want us asking the right question because we start asking the right question and getting the right answers, and all of a sudden we're going to look going, what the fuck? Like, this shit ain't cool, right? So everyone's talking about college costs so much. The focus being on the loans, right? The loan companies.
They blame the loan companies.
Yeah, the loan companies, the government, what the government role is. And by the way, this is going to sound very independent of me. I don't think the government should just forgive it for shits and giggles.
Bernie will pick up the tab. Don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah. Like, I disagree with that. I am more about, like, now, I want to do something. Let me do something for it,
Well, if we weren't $22 trillion in debt, and I'd say, you know what? Maybe we can pick up the tab on some of this, but we're not up $22 trillion. We're down $22 trillion. So
I started doing a little bit of research and everything, right? And so I pulled up our favorite local school, the Ohio State University.
OH.
All right, IO. So now I love everyone on this panel tonight because we're going to talk about sports here in just about 5-10 minutes. But but I wanted to look at why is college cost so much? And try getting that right answer. I tried contacting my old alma mater. I went to Otterbein, a little private school, and and people were nice to talk with me, but then they're like, "No, we're not going to come on the air," right? I'm like, now I did go. Ohio State is being a public school, right? So everything is published, right? So let me ask you a question, right? If you were to guess, how many people at Ohio State, in admin, athletics, whatever, made over $1 million a year? What would you say? And there's an asterisk next to the number too.
How many?
Employees?
It could be admins,
employees,
and faculty, whatever. Just straight up $1 million a year.
I could say right now,
say 100.
The football coach. Does that count?
Yeah,
that's true.
What 4 point? He makes $4 million, I think, a year.
How much does the president of the university make a year?
What do you think?
I'm not sure.
I'm gonna throw a number at you that's in the 20 to 25 range.
That much?
So 13. So 13 total make over. Now there's an
100.
asterisk next to that number.
You baited me because I would have said 3.
So now there's an asterisk next to that number because they don't count bonuses. All right. So now our president, OSU president, Michael Drake, his technically, so he's a highest paid university employee, $1.04 million, right? And now Coach Day is $4.5 million. Now, technically, that doesn't technically come out of the state coffers. That comes out of their athletics, the boosters, fund. Whatever it is, right?
Big time work.
So 13, right? But here's where it gets interesting, though. If you had to pick a number, so the bonuses are the interesting part, right? If you had to guess how many millions of dollars last year alone were paid out in bonuses to admin staff, what would you guess?
I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah, that's a big number.
And bonuses are just like, hey, you did your job or you made your numbers.
Showed up.
Millions?
Millions.
Ooh. I don't know.
65.
Ooh. All right. Phil? We got 65.
I'm going to say, just give me 50.
All right, 50. Stelz?
My number. 55.
$58.7 million in bonuses to 93 employees.
What, to 93?
To only 93 employees.
Who was saying earlier the rich get richer?
Yeah. So here's what's interesting, guys. All right. So I did the math. So room and board 2018, 2019, in tuition is $26,000 a year. So I did the math. So 58 million divided by 26,000 is 2,200 people. That and Ohio State has anywhere between 25,000-30,000 students.
I think it's more than that.
Well, undergrad, I think with graduate, I think it's close to 50 or something.
Yeah, with grad, it's 50.
But think about it.
So
if straight up That's just 2,000 people. So when we start kind of going into this whole idea of, and we can go down the list. I mean, this is just a little perusing, right? When we start going into, well, how fair is it that we have people making millions of dollars and bonuses? That was just 1 year,
This is
right?
at a state
State school.
That's what-
This is I'm not making this shit up. This is state funded,
Yeah.
taxpayer funded, and not only that, we have kids' tuition going up every single year. Bonuses keep going up every single year. So you guys start asking yourself the question now. Bill has kids. Murph, you have a kid. I got a kid. Stells might have a kid one day. Who the fuck knows, right?
Yeah, there's
So
a couple of
thing
kids
is,
out there
How?
somewhere.
Think about
That's
it.
a joke.
Think about it.
Can't
If
have
if
kids.
every one of our kids want to go to Ohio State, and by the time our kids are going to be old enough, my daughter's 5, right? Joel's what, 12?
Yeah.
Yeah.
12.
JC is
5.
5. Max and
4 and 2.
Yeah, so 14 to whatever years, it's going to be what, 40,000
Oh, and
probably.
we're already saving
So-
for them now.
How does it sit with you as parents, knowingly that we have people making 58 million? By then, it's going to be over 100 million, and then you're paying this much. Or we're going to be paying this much
All
for
right.
our kids.
I'm not trying to here to put down higher education.
Yeah.
I think it's very important, and I encourage any listeners out there who are thinking about it to go to college. What I'm saying is, college in of itself, as far as the cost goes, for what you get, is a scam. It's a scam, and I'm not saying that higher education isn't a good thing. It is a good thing, and I'm going to completely encourage my kids to do it. But at the same time, as we've mentioned in other episodes, the fact that you have to pay $200 for a textbook, that right there should be a red flag.
But
Hey,
if you
something
sell
like
it back,
so
so that
that-
20
You
bucks.
can go get a job and they'll
So-
pay you to
something's
learn.
amiss
Dude.
right
All right,
there.
so this is like this is another thing
just
people.
for a textbook.
This is another thing people are talking about. So my book failure to launch. I wanted to write it for everybody. Being a first-time author, it was really tough. So they go, "Hey, we can get you in for an academic book, right?" And so the book that normally would probably sell for, I don't know, $15 maybe, we're going to sell for $70. Just because it's an academic book.
And it's because it's on the required course?
Yeah, well, no, it was just a book that it could be for supervisors, to
Oh, I
train
see.
counselors, it
Okay.
could be for more graduate level, but just the idea of like the markup, right? Same damn book. All I did was like put a little extra research and maybe I was a little more blunt.
I mean, at what point does it become price gouging?
But here's the
higher
see, this
education.
is the
That's all I'm
point, all
saying.
right?
'Cause
So
they
now
can.
here's the deal, right? So we have on one hand, we have administrators making a shit ton of money, and we're going, why does the price of college keep going? Well, why don't we sit there and ask going, why is it for? So when kids are literally going bankrupt and go to your school, you're paying people out that level. You know what? Fuck. Go to a private school like a Harvard where kids are paying 50, 60 grand. They're all rich, right? For a state school, there is something just egregious to that. Nobody in a state school, when kids are barely affording to make ends meet, no one should be making that much money. Fuck that noise, right? Then we got the books, right? So now this is where the books are really fucked, guys. So it used to be, you buy the book. A book that should be fucking $40, $30 is $150. At least you got to keep it, right? Now this shit's electronic. Now they get you going, you're going to buy a $150 book, and guess what? You're going to only get access to it for one semester. And you got to pay extra to go for the whole year, and you don't get to fucking keep it now. Wow. That shit is fucking, it's brilliant if you're in the publishing industry, right? So I have a question, all right? Now, for our resident conservative, bleeding, although I'm surprised you don't wear red tonight since we're on camera, right? But, all right.
Late notice.
So this is where I start sitting there going, all right, very basic human nature is greed, right? In the Bible, it talks about every fucking religion. It's the root of all evil, right? Where do you look at, is this when we're talking about if you can trust government? So hypothetical, right? Isn't this technically where the role of government typically has come in to protect us about predatory practices? And shouldn't that be the role of government? Now, you're conservative. I know less government, but technically, as a conservative, shouldn't that be our role when it's price gouging this bad? Whether it be the state or federal?
Yeah, I mean, that and probably the healthcare thing obviously needs to be regulated in some way. But, yeah, I agree. Somebody's got to get in there. I mean, there's no reason for them to pay $150 for a textbook that's...
Yes. So right away, high five. All right.
Yeah.
So see, this is what we do on Gray, right? We have the ability to have rational discussions because that's the role of government.
Yeah.
But can we trust government? I mean, that's the problem.
That's the age-old have you seen some of the boobs in government? Do you really want more of them running around?
Well, all I gotta say is if you, it's whatever. If
So
you,
what do you...
think about it, like what are they not talking about? They're not talking about books, and it's like, wow, I don't know what the book lobby is. Is you hear anyone talking about, wow, like where's Greg Abbott or Mike DeWine going, hey, wow, like you guys are paying a lot of administrators a lot of money. That ain't saying shit because they're getting the same endowment to probably get paid $20,000 to do a commencement address, right?
I think they should make all state school. Now, private schools, colleges, they can do whatever they want. But I think any state-funded colleges need to have a much, much lower tuition or be free. I don't know. Well, but what I'm saying is, I'm just talking about state. I'm just talking about state.
Now,
It's supposed to make money if it's free.
So actually, I got a plan for it though.
First of all, cut out the multi-million-dollar bonuses.
So I think I think number one,
private colleges do whatever you want.
If you want to bring the price of colleges down, I think at the state level there needs to be some moratorium on how much money you're paying admin staff. I mean, that's just common sense.
For somebody, I don't care.
58 million for 93 admins. Come on,
it's win-win.
Seriously.
What's the number one reason, besides not wanting to? What's the number one reason that people probably don't go to college?
I think
affordability.
It costs too much.
I think that might be one of. I think a lot of times people are just like, well, why go to college if I don't?
Besides not wanting to go.
Yeah, money. Yeah, aside. I think those are the top two.
If you don't want to go, you don't want to go.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, as our country, our goal should be to get as many young people to be educated as possible.
Yeah.
It gets them better jobs. It does better for our overall economy. It keeps more people out of jail. Like, it's win across the board. It's a fact. So what I'm saying is, if we had a state college that was an absolute bare minimum cost or no cost, maybe we can't do no cost, but I mean, I'm talking bare minimum, where it's literally affordable for everybody. Imagine how many more people would be in college, and overall, in the long term, it might take 5, 10, 20 years, a generation, but you're going to see that. But
I think the problem is that, and I'm actually curious to get your guys' feedback on this one. Like, a study came out just last week that millennials, or people that are growing up now, are making less money without a college education than any other generation before. And so now you guys have obviously done, pretty well. I mean, I'm the one guy that finished college here, and we all have different lifestyles. We all do different things, right? But I mean, honestly, your kids. I mean, are you going to push JC and Joel to go to college? If that's, as a parent, are you sitting there making that important, or are you looking at it's a personal choice?
Oh, it's definitely important to get your kids, college.
Yeah,
but are they made out for college? We'll see.
That is a good question.
We'll see.
Yeah, and I think that's a question that no one really wants to kind of talk about. I think for far too long, this whole positive self-esteem psychology movement of like everyone can do everything. Let's build up your self-esteem. And a lot of times I tell parents, listen, like a lot of times my job is to figure out what your kid's ceiling is. And if some kids just aren't made up for college, but we got to find different options for them. I mean, shit, as a welder, you can make $100,000 a year as a fucking welder.
Not even go to school for that.
Yeah, I mean, that's like a year and a half apprenticeship and cert. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, like part of me is just kind of like, shit, man. Like I have clients that are specializing in like certain types of welding that, they're working at Honda making more than I am.
Yeah,
like literally with no debt and
like zero education.
Our old CEO, he's moved on since then, but he gave us an address to our company, and we're distribution. We don't really make anything. We buy a product, and then we redistribute it to the customer. But he gave us, in one of our town halls, he had said, you know what? He said, if I had a child that was high school age, he goes, I would tell them to get into the trucking industry, not the most glamorous job per se, but he goes, there's such demand right now that they are literally setting their own, because there's not enough drivers to fill it. And I can tell you that
I am so glad you mentioned that, because that is a problem with jobs. There are a lot of jobs that you're making good money because everyone, it's not glamorous. But what are my friends going to say?
You can make 6 figures for being a truck.
Dude, that's
too
the
worried
thing.
about what other people say.
This whole Instagram, social, like where everyone has to put up their bet. It's like, dude, you know what?
Everybody wants to be a star athlete. Or they want to be a CEO.
Or
that's what they'll tell you.
Well, the new one now is I want to be a YouTube star or an Instagram star. Yeah.
Yes.
So Bill, so your kids. So with Max and Bert, if they have it, what it takes, are you going to put that reinforce going to college?
Well, we are saving for college for both of them. So that is definitely the hope or the plan. And my wife probably doesn't agree with it, but I've always kind of said, well, one of the options that kind of is a win-win is, maybe have the boys encourage them to join the military for maybe 2-3 years.
Yeah, I'm all about that. Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to go to the front line of a war. I mean, my father served in the Navy during the Vietnam era, and he was, went to Italy and Spain. Like he wasn't, but you get that GI Bill.
They earned it. They earned it.
Well,
Hell yeah.
it's going to help pay for your college.
Yeah.
You can do that 100% cash out refi too, you know.
What's that?
You can do that 100%
I
cash
can
out
refinance
refi as a veteran, you know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And so, get out, see. I told him, maybe join the Navy like your grandfather did. Get out, see the world for 2-3 years. Get some responsibility. You get out, you're going to have the GI Bill, whatever they have at that time, that's going to pay for all, or at least some of it, a lot of it.
Yeah.
Great resume builder. I mean, if you get honorably discharged, I mean, it's.
See, I love like what Israel does. Israel, you're 18, your ass is in the military for a year. Now, I'm not saying everyone's going to be on the front lines, yeah, but it's like your ass. And this is where I think
seems reasonable.
Yeah, and this is where, once again, and this is where I love being independent. I can throw both parties underneath the butt. It's awesome, right? And the thing is, like, the whiny crybaby college kids that knowingly took their loans out, or the sitting there going, I want free college. Well, no, fuck that. You want free college from your government? Do something for your government. My thought is either A, go and do a gap year program. You're not quite ready. You're not sure. You need that money up front. Go do a program. It could be any government-assisted program. We need help with building infrastructure everywhere. We're talking about how many trillions do we need? Well, how about we then bring in a core of young people who are either unskilled or skilled or shit we can teach them, help them build the infrastructure and give them discounted free, or at least money towards college. Or you graduate, you have all this debt, right? So instead of going out and getting that $60,000, $70,000, $100,000 a year engineering job, computer science, counseling, lawyer, medicine, go and work for the government. Help build roads, help build infrastructure, help do programming work for NSA. You get maybe a little bit lower of a salary, but you get money back to help reimburse it. And then when you're done, then go off and do your private sector stuff if you want to. Make people earn and do something for your country for that free college. This whole demanding it, like, what have you fucking done? Like, I've paid my money, I paid my taxes, and I'm not demanding that free money. Well, I know what I did.
I mean, you mentioned earlier about everyone wanting to be reality stars and YouTube stars, and you have, Ocasio-Cortez, who now is kind of like this generation's, version of a YouTube politician star, in a way, right?
Oh, yeah, dude, totally. That's how she got elected, pretty much.
Well,
just, like, sound bites and, like...
good for her.
Yeah.
But she played the game, and she won. I mean,
and she's attractive. Let's be honest.
That doesn't hurt.
If she was not attractive, let's be honest, she probably would not have gotten elected.
But what I'm saying is she's young in the way she's young in the way she won. And let's
You're
be
biased,
honest, she's young, she's attractive, and the way she won, and the fact that she's a socialist.
Yeah.
That's what is really the key is. I mean, that's because there's this whole big thing with Bernie. I don't think it's quite as hot as it was in 2016. Maybe he could reignite it for 2020. We'll have to wait and see there, but I can feel like so far he doesn't have quite the same momentum. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Well, because I think people realize that half the things that he's putting out there make no sense at all. You can't do it.
My point is, though, when you have a young person like her, though, AOC, who's out there kind of saying that to all the young people, you're right. You shouldn't have to. This should be free. Farting cows. Let's get rid of those. Like, just outrageous things. What did she say? She goes. Someone asked her how she was going to pay for everything. And I think it was free health care for all, or maybe it was free education. She goes, we're just going to pay for it.
You just do it.
What does that mean?
They don't follow this guy.
Absolutely nothing to pay.
And some young people are saying, we're just going to pay for it.
It'll just fix itself.
I know her. She made me a drink 6 months ago. What bar was that?
Hey, by the way, did she give out any free drinks when she was a bartender?
No.
No.
So, I mean, that's just like the whole damn thing. It's just like... It's just absurd, right? And so we have that, right? So then it's like, I look, if you're an elected official, all right, you're a parent. And I think, as a parent, your job's not to tell your kids what they want to hear. Your job's to tell your kids what they need to hear. And the problem with our politicians, they tell their constituency what they want to hear. They don't tell their asses what they need to hear. What they need to hear is that your asses ain't getting free college. How about y'all do something for it and I can meet you there? Or what we're talking about tonight is, instead of like having this big giant governmental change that changes the way like the very fabric of everything is done that stands no chance of getting done, why don't we actually look for the low-hanging fruit, the obvious ones? Like you paid out $58 million in bonuses to your admin staff. All right, that maybe that's over 2,200 free tuitions. Maybe we should start with that, right? That's low. That's something we can all agree on, right? Can we get a governmental, like a state and a federal a governmental task force to make sure there aren't predatory practices among admin staff. Put in some cap and trade or a cap system of what you pay your admin staff on books. I mean, have something like that. We can all agree upon that. It's not changing the fundamental nature of this country, right? Now, Stell, same question to me. Now, you don't have kids, right? But knowing what you know now, do you wish maybe you would have gone back to school? Or are there things that, well, I could have moved up in my company doing this, or I could have done something different? I mean, do you ever sit there and go, well, or would have done something differently, a certification? I mean,
no, I mean, obviously it couldn't hurt to have a degree to fall back on at any given point in time, but no, it wouldn't have advanced me in my career. I mean, if you can sell, I mean, there's no.
Yeah, and that's you make a great point there with sales, because that's something where they were doing this study about like kids nowadays, millennials, and millennials are so damn afraid to even go up to a customer service counter and like return something. They'll just buy something and then just hold on to it.
They don't even call people.
Yeah,
they text.
they can get
what interact with someone actually.
Oh, dude, they'll get like they'll take the wrong meal because they don't want to say anything bad, right? And so when we're talking about sales, like I was watching this podcast, and a guy it was a sales kind of podcast, and he was like, dude, like if you feel any pressure to get up and make phone calls, you don't do sales. Like if you have to sit there and make yourself, oh God, I don't want to do this today, you're not going to be successful, right? And the thing is, like if you can sell, you can sell. And if you're good at it and you like doing it, you can make good money. And there's a whole lost art of you don't need college education to be a badass salesman. You can make 6 figures as a car salesman. You make 6 figures doing mortgages. You can make 6 figures selling anything.
You just got to know how to talk to people, man.
Got to know how to talk to people. And what happens when you don't know how to talk to people anymore?
Why don't you get
and
the
that's
guy,
the issue.
We should get the guy on from ShamWow.
Maybe that's
here
all
and
these
see
kids
what-
are stuck.
No,
in
he's
their
kind of
iPads
dead. No, is he? No, that was the other guy.
He's
Yeah.
alive and well.
So now, all right. So I'm gonna switch gears. All right. Now it's the same topic, but now I'm gonna go to an area that I don't know, I might get beat up for this. And if someone I'm about to say
By the wifey or by
no, by you guys, and pretty much every sports fan.
How are you
Right?
getting beaten up anyways?
So I want to bring in college athletics here, guys. All right. So now I love sports. All right. So I mean, I'm calling out my own love of sports, right? So if you had to guess, what do you think OSU's? It was kind of a tie at the top for the top 2. So Texas A&M, Ohio State. If you had to guess what the total revenue, not before expenses or anything, but total revenue.
A&M or regular Texas?
Texas A&M and
was
Ohio
right there
State.
with Ohio State?
Yeah, their
really?
revenue. Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
the Longhorns.
Yeah, well, at least the way I read it, I could be wrong. But
Okay.
well, it's for sense. So if you had to guess what the total revenue last year of each one of these programs was, the
Just
total revenue
athletic.
that their football and all total athletic programs brought in, what would you guess?
Billions, right? I mean, we pull in.
Just individually,
I
just
can
individually.
Speak to the
Yeah.
cost of the beers were about $9. That starts to add up.
So their Ohio State and Texas A&M last year each brought in $200 million by themselves each. Alabama was $176 million.
Just based on that, I think that the head coach of Ohio State, Day, he should be the highest paid employee at Ohio State.
Technically, now here's the deal, though. So I actually did my research, right? Because I don't want to, go in half-cocked. And, apparently, though, this Trump says we're fully cocked and loaded.
We were cocked and loaded.
Cocked
sir.
and loaded?
Cocked
I
and
always
loaded.
thought locked and loaded sounded better, so cocked and loaded sound kind of...
Yeah.
Well,
kind
that
of-
damn Ayatollah, but that's a whole other story.
I don't know, some guys are yelling Ayatollah. I don't know. Sorry, good reference, used cars, But anywho, so it's a little kind of hairy, and I think that or a little murky. But from basically, they'll get a base salary, almost like they're like think of like Worthington Kilborn. Was it Mr. Failer? Who was our football coach at Kilborn?
Gafford.
Gafford, right?
Gafford.
So it's like they got to teach something, right? So technically, there's a small part of it. So they had Urban Meyers on there, so it was like if you made like $4.5 million that year, so maybe $200,000 was technically paid by the state, but everything else comes from the revenue of the football program, admission, sponsorship, boosters, whatever it is, right? But I was just sitting there going like, well, so now Ohio State didn't have a breakdown, so I looked up Alabama's. So Alabama last year brought in, it was like $176 million, right? So they had it broken down. So how does the profit break down? So it was like $45 million was brought in by football, 5.1 was brought in by basketball. Women's basketball was negative $3 million.
Not
All
surprised
other
there.
sports
How do you
negative
lose?
$17.4 million. And not specific to a team, so I'm guessing that's, I don't know what the hell that means. Was negative 15.
Rowing?
So basically, the only ones that make money are football and men's basketball.
Are they keeping all the
way it is here, too,
barely
I think.
men's
Now,
basketball.
Yeah.
They keep on the sports that are losing money? Is that because of Title IX?
I think it was just because it's how much money they brought in. So there's
Well,
so
I mean-
much money it goes in with television revenue,
Well,
sponsorship.
normally you wouldn't keep not just a program, but any company. You wouldn't keep something inconsistent and it's losing money.
Well, it's not
But I
about
think 'cause of
making
title.
money technically. It's just about,
It's
you know,
not
so
about-
basically, so the whole adage of like men's basketball, men's football, it really does pay for every other sport. So then they broke it down by like, so it was like 1.8. So they did it by like, so how much money did they actually make? They actually technically lost money, or a lot of these programs don't make any money technically speaking. So you're sitting there going, well, Mike, what's the big deal? If they brought in 200 million, but they technically lost money, what's the big deal? Well, here's the big deal. All right. So think about it. 1.8 million in scholarships, coaches' salaries. This is Alabama, by the way. 5.6 million. Support staff.
That's all sports?
This is all sports.
Okay.
So coach salaries 5.6 million.
Shit, I thought
Support
Saban
staff.
gets
So
it
think about this. Think about the as I'm things I'm starting to say here, right? Support staff.
Headphone holder guy.
Expenses 2.9 million. Game day expenses 2.4. Other operating expenses 1.8.
Slush funds.
Gatorade cups.
Yeah. So then they start going into literally. I mean, like they start. I'm not going to go on all of it, but they
Gatorade.
start breaking it down literally by like stadium expenses,
Jockstrap
grounds crew,
cleaner.
facilities,
Jockstrap.
whatever it kind of is, right? So you start it takes a enterprise to keep these things afloat. But here's the thing I'm going out there, right? Is that so they're bringing in all this money, right? But then they're spending all that money, and so you're sitting there going, you're a college team representing a university, a system that is making your student body go bankrupt, right? And you're spending out of the 200 million you brought in, you know, if you take away like the coaches, I mean, you're spending still hundreds of millions of dollars to support the damn thing. Your your $1 billion stadiums sometimes, your the support staff, the clipboard holders, the medical facility. I mean, literally, they had like, it was like, God, what number was it? It was like something like 3.7 million in healthcare expenses because it's
like-
all injuries and whatever. I mean,
large medical
It's like
staff.
get rid of the airplane. You're moving to a bus.
yeah. So think about it,
Major League.
Yeah.
So 2.7 million spent on recruiting alone.
That's
Bowl,
That's all the strip clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bowl expenses $8 million.
Those hookers in Louisville are
Meals.
cheap.
Yeah, $1 million in meals. I mean, so medical costs $2.97 million
And
last
how much
year.
do they pay the athletes? Zero.
So here's a question.
Allegedly.
So
Right.
now, and so they made so if you look at it, so Alabama brought in 176 million, but they fucking spent 212 million. So this is the question I got for you guys, right? So we all love sports, right? But the reality is that our love of sports, our demanding, if the coaches don't do this, go out and get the better coach. If hold on to them, pay them whatever you got to pay them, right? Better facilities, better recruits. We want to get the best.
I'm not putting those funds towards education, Mike D.
Well, this is the thing we got to ask ourselves.
I'll
is that,
cut your ass off
now
with the-
you don't have kids, though, right? So this is like an interesting topic then of like, especially for the people who have children here. All right, do we got to sit here and start going? How far are we willing to go for our love of sports when the amount of money it's generating and the revenue to support these damn things?
No, wait. How good will my team be first?
I mean,
If they're really good, then I'm willing to
that's a
sacrifice.
dilemma.
I'm buying a
I
new
mean-
T-shirt.
If they're going to suck either way, then I say, okay, education.
I'm buying a new
Yeah.
hat.
I mean,
There's revenue right
that's
there.
the dilemma, is that you want your team to be good, but then the thing is, then we want our kids to be bankrupt, or us be bankrupt. We're talking two kids. That'll be over $100,000 each by the time for a state school for your children, my child, to go to college. And do we? And I'm not saying that I don't think that money drives. I mean, I know some of that money can, even though they don't really. Actually, I don't think it really does. They're in debt. You can sit there and go, well, they put all this money in. No, it doesn't go into cancer research or no. Football players get, scholarships. It's like, well, if they're bringing this much money, should we have an honest conversation, okay, about should we have some type of earmarked certain percentage of that revenue has to go in to the general, let's say, tuition fund to bring the cost of tuition down? Murph, I'm going to go you first on this one. What do you think?
I think that would never happen.
I'm not saying it's not, but do you think it should, though? Do you think there's some validity to that?
Should. I think it'd be great.
Do you want your kids?
It's like setting aside just a little bit of money every time. You know?
So let's say Jason and Joe
builds
both.
Up.
Yeah, let's say they both want to go to Ohio State. By the time that they're there, that's going to be probably $250,000 out of your pocket or their pocket. Is Ohio State being perennial #1 or at least top 5 football team worth $250,000 for you?
What if Joel's on?
no.
What if Joel's on the team?
So, Bill,
That's a big hell no.
yeah, Bill, is that worth it to you for Max and Brody? $250,000.
Well, your plan's not going to pay for their entire education, though, Mike.
Yeah, I don't know that that's.
It's just about we're talking about the cost of college.
Yeah.
You know, that should we be having an honest discussion about a certain percentage going towards bringing the cost of education down? Like, shouldn't that be? I mean, Bill, what do you think?
I mean, if it was absolutely synonymous with bringing the cost down, I would be willing to entertain it. But the thing is, I don't know that it will be. I don't know that it's direct correlation. It sounds good in theory.
I think it has to be specific. It has to be this amount of money goes to this.
It's a good idea. It's a good idea. I don't know from A to B if it would get there. I think there's more speed bumps to it, so to speak.
Yeah.
I think there's a little more to it, and I think there's too many people that stand to lose money to allow this to happen.
Yeah.
Too many friends of governors.
That's
a fraction of a penny.
Everything comes full circle back around again. Now, Stiles, I know for you don't have kids, right? But let's say one day you have to have kids, right?
Some kid shows up at 18 years old and says, "Daddy, where you been?
Yeah,
By the way,
Daddy, where have you been?
About that college education.
Wow, he's a great game of golf, small legs, but he's devastatingly handsome. I mean, do you think there's some legitimacy there? Now, once again, we're talking perfect world of black and white. Yes, this money goes to this, and we will bring down revenue. Is it worth it to you? As an Ohio State fan, is it worth it to you to subsidize that?
I understand what you're trying to do, but you can't. Like he said, it would never fly. You can't.
And that's and once again,
and a #1 team in the country is worth a pretty good amount.
It is. I mean, and given we're all guilty of it, right?
I like that too.
I mean, but here's where it gets really fucked up, right? So
here's where it gets fucked up.
No, this is where it gets really fucked up. So college is really easy, right? So now here's the thing, all right? So in Texas, there's no state income tax. So every one of their taxes that you get for every end, no state. So everything is through your property taxes. So technically speaking, it's a hidden income tax because they just raise basically the state senators and House of Reps basically go, we never raised your taxes because it's all to your city, and then they raise it. That's the only reason they get their revenue, right?
Nice.
So now, as a result of that, the independent school districts are always fucking hurting for cash, right? So there was a school district. It was like the Allen McKinney school district. They built a football stadium. High school.
Yes, we've talked about
for
this.
$70 million. Now, the best thing about this $70 million stadium, you know what I got them? You know what they got for their $70 million? A contractor that looked to save money and watered down the concrete, and within a year it was cracking. They had to demolish it and rebuild it.
Wow.
And then I think the contractor declared bankruptcy.
Well, yeah, I would too.
So now here's a messed up thing, right? I mean, people are like, well, it's Texas football, right? So that same district, then that year, I think they cut 20 teacher jobs. So you have $70 million to build a football stadium, but you don't have enough money to educate your children.
Well, what's messed up too, though, if you ask maybe not all the parents, but some of the parents, they'll tell you, no, that stadium's worth it. Teachers, we can get more teachers. Don't worry.
But
about
the whole thing,
because
you can't get more teachers.
But what I'm saying is that's how
Teachers are
big.
dumb and dozen.
That's how big football is, especially in Texas,
Yeah.
high school football. So there are some people that will be like, you know what? But maybe they feel for their child, and this isn't for all children, but maybe their child's best hope of going to college is via football.
Hey, and I have no problem with it. But the same breath,
Right?
though.
Or athletics in general.
So think about Arlington School District, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, City of Arlington, not only did they approve a sweetheart tax deal to have the Cowboy Stadium, built, Jerry World,
World.
Yeah. But then now, after I think the Texas Rangers, their stadium, they just approved another brand new ballpark stadium, right?
Yeah, it's only
and
20
but seriously,
years
yeah. And
Did
this
they
is
really?
a city, dude, where it's like if you look at like the resources that they got for their people is abysmal. So it's begging the question of it's like it's easy to make fun of the person who is paying rent. They can't afford their rent and has brand new rims and a badass sound system for their car, but they don't have rent money, right? It's easy to make fun of it, but technically speaking, as a country as a whole, are we technically doing the same thing? Buying shit we don't need, right? Spending money on a football stadium at the expense of educating your children, having resources for the city that you live in, having affordable health care. If you really think about it, it's very immature. I mean, we're spending money on shit that doesn't really matter in the bigger scheme of things for shit that, well, frankly, doesn't. I mean, that does matter, and it's immature. I mean, there's no difference between not having any money and buying rims for your car. That was my rent. I mean, it's like, look, they're spinning. Look, they're spinning. They're 22s. They're spinning. Well, I don't got money for rent this month, but I got 22s. I can sleep in my car.
I can sleep in
It's
Mike D.
But it's like, this is where I get so frustrated, and it's like, this is what we're talking about here. Oh, college is so expensive. Well, let's do $58 million in bonuses for admin staff. It's
the only way that people are going to have enough of this and just, take a semester off, like a boycott. I don't know what the solution is.
That's the thing is, I mean, where it's like, there is a lot of power of the people, but the thing is we're not asking the right questions. We almost don't want, I mean, because the people that are in power, they want to keep things the way that they are. And I mean, I guess a part of me, if I were rich and evil and famous, whatever, like, I would want to, maybe.
to stop $1 million
yeah,
bonuses.
but in the same breath, though, I mean, if I were like a CEO of a company, like, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night knowingly I could buy an extra Ferrari or have 5 extra
Beach
houses
house.
at the expense of like 60% of my hourly staff able to make ends meet. I couldn't live with myself paying myself $40 million a year when I'd be like, dude, give me 5 and let me pay my people a living wage and give them good health care. Like,
do you think
maybe I'm naive, but
I mean, besides greed, which I think we can all agree that's probably the root of this, but when it comes to the politicians, and I think the majority of politicians are pretty darn crooked anyway. They might not break the law. I think they bend the law and they go within right along the edge of they know how to get things done. But do you feel that since the majority of college campuses in America are liberal, right? They have promote a lot of liberal ideas. A lot of the teachers are liberal. I mean, just take a look at them. Do you feel incumbent upon, say, Democrats should bear more responsibility or blame even for not being able to lower these costs simply because they are kind of pushing more of their ideas, quote unquote? I know this is every college campus, but do you think that, hey, you know what, all these campuses are pretty darn liberal, but the people that these liberals vote for in power have not done a thing to help the same people that are kind of supporting them on these campuses?
I think you're going to be surprised by my answer. I'm going to say no.
No?
And the reason why I'm going to say no is that it is so easy to blame politicians. It's so easy to point the finger at everybody else. But the reality is that if people were actually educated enough to understand what is going on, I'm talking like think for yourself, right? Not go, I'm going to listen to Sean Hannity or Rachel Maddow. I'm actually going to read it for myself, or at least try to understand this thing myself. And if most people did that, and I think that's what we try to do on this show, where there's no agenda. There's not like I go in there going, oh, wow. Like when people reach out to me on Twitter or Facebook, go, oh, dude, this is fucked up. Right about this. I challenge them. I'm like, well, what's the evidence? What proof do we got? Everything that I come at it going, I'm looking at facts. I'm looking at figures. And it's not to say there's not another way of looking at it. I'm just going off of what does the evidence, the known evidence tell me? What is the most logical conclusion, right? If people all operated from that perspective, they're going to listen to a politician and go, that's bullshit. That doesn't make any sense because I know how this shit works. That makes no sense. And then if everyone said that's bullshit, that doesn't make sense, I'm going to demand candidates that are going to go, that is bullshit. That makes no sense. Here's the score. This is how it really works. This is why that's not going to work. This is why I'm proposing this. You may not get people that are going to be 100% left, right, and it goes into this doctrine or that doctrine. But we live in a gray. That's why this show's called Gray Matters. All of us live in a gray. Politicians and media people love making shit black and white, red and blue. But real life solutions, we would not be here right now if we were just like, it has to be this. It has to be this. Like we were just saying earlier, what is the role of government? If it is a black and white conservative, fuck government. Government doesn't do anything. Well, no, the government, that's a good point. The government should do that. It's when we actually
look at anything. Look at guns, right? That people have you divided. either the guns are the devil, or you must be buried with your gun in your cold
Yeah,
grave.
it's
And I'm going,
somewhere in the
well,
middle.
maybe it's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm pro-gun, but, let's
Yeah.
have some
It's
laws
like,
that make
hey,
sense
shit,
as well.
do I believe in a Second Amendment? Yeah. Do I feel like people who are schizophrenic and who are on the federal rolls for disability because they can't function? Like, no, they don't need a gun. Like, you've been in jail for a violent crime. No, you don't need a gun.
no.
Like, I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah,
well, that
I
means
agree.
everyone with anxiety. No, if you have anxiety, your ass ain't going to be taking Medicare SSI. Like, no. Like, so yeah, it's being reasonable, right? And so if we're being reasonable, we're going to look at a candidate going, I don't know if they're Democrat, Republican, fuck that, whatever they are, right? But they're going to listen. That doesn't make any sense. This is why it doesn't make sense. This is my understanding of the problem. That we're going to demand. They're giving us simply what we're asking. You go to a grocery store 10 years ago. Is there anything organic? Maybe one or two things. People demanded more organic food. That's what you see now. They use high fructose corn syrup and artificial whatever, right? And now what do you see? People are demanding something different. Now they go without high fructose corn syrup, without, you don't see extra trans fats. Extra, we got high fructose corn. We have extra fructose in there. No, they are simply giving us what we're demanding. And what we're demanding is an AOC. Shit that sounds good on Instagram and Twitter makes no sense in real life. We get these bombastic conservatives. It's all the same damn thing. They are giving us what we demand. So if we demand different, that's our responsibility. It's our fault. People don't like to hear that, right? Once again, what is a politician's job? A politician is you're a parent. Your job's to tell people what they need to hear. What they need to hear is, y'all just been lazy. You don't want to think for yourselves. You trust other people to think for you, and they're cherry picking the information to present the picture that they want, right? Yep. We can talk about climate change, all this shit. It's like everyone is cherry picking the shit, right? And so this is what we get. It's our own damn fault. Our government is as fucked up as it is. Now, if we demand something different, we boycotted elections or boycotted candidates. We boycotted products that are lobbying, that are paying exorbitant amount of money just to game the system. Tomorrow, if we go, I ain't buying your shit, their asses are out of business. We have all the power in the world to change it. We're just lazy. We just want to point the finger from our couch and not do anything about it and bitch and moan. It's our fault. So that's my angry bottom line answer. And so where it's like, we want to bitch and moan about the cost of college. All right, how about you write your damn local congressman and go, why the fuck you paying $58 million in bonuses? That's fucked up. I'm going to organize a bunch of people out there. They're going to make it to where your ass ain't going to get reelected unless you do something about it. Fucking change happens tomorrow. That's the thing, is that change can happen so damn quickly, and we just don't because we're lazy.
I think people think it's so hard to change, though. It's like, where do you start at?
Yeah,
like
it's hard. Everything's hard to change. I mean, I always tell my clients, that shit were easy. You ain't paying me $150 an hour to come in here and talk to me. Change is tough. Easy. I'm a therapist, and my ass has a lot of shit I have to work on. I know what the fuck it is that I'm doing. It's tough for me to change, but we have to. I got to lose 15 pounds. I got to let Norditrack in there. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to do it tonight. I've been drinking bourbon. I ain't going to do that. But my ass is it, and then, oh my God, is it tougher for me to lose weight? Was it easier just to watch what I ate, lose 10 pounds, and hey, we're good? Yeah. Do I exercise now? Yeah, I got to exercise. Everything is tough. If it was tough, it wouldn't be easy. And so, yeah, it's tough. But I guess, I don't know. Dare I say it? We're comfortable. And that's going to be the thing that brings down this country, because we're so damn comfortable that by the time the shit that we're ignoring, the shit really hits the fan, we're going to go from being comfortable, oh, fuck, what do we do? It's like going from, I don't have any cancer, stage 4, you're dead.
No.
Ah, shit. I mean, that's the reality. I mean, are we going to wait till we got flames shooting out our ass and blood coming out of orifice? I mean, that's what I feel like. Is that what we're waiting for as a country? And by the time we realize it's too late, it is too late. So that's why I do this show. The show is where, even if hundreds and maybe I don't know. Hopefully, I think a couple shows we've gotten 1,000. The people are listening. Like, is that maybe they'll hear it and kind of go, "You're right. That is kind of messed up." If so much as one person listens to the show and go, "Wow, I hear this candidate talking about this, but that makes no sense based upon my research or what I've kind of heard." Well, shit. Okay, I don't want to vote for them. That doesn't make any sense. It's a win.
Well, I think since we have kids that are still a little ways off from college, but they will be impending, I think we should be one to ignite the flame of revolution to lower college tuition. Come on,
we got to. I mean, that's why I decided to do this show. I have a I have somebody reaching out going, that is an injustice, and be a mouthpiece. Get out there and talk about it. So we're out here talking about it. And if we really want the cost of college to come down, we have some very black and white options that people can take. You can write your local congressman. Go on a state-funded website, your state college. Look at where is all that money going, and demand change.
Demand that they reopen Trump University.
Oh yeah, there we go. That was a winner.
Too bad everybody can't boycott college.
That was pretty messed up, man. You know,
Trump was a winner, or Trump University? Because Trump was a winner.
Oh, he was a winner, yeah. But we got one winner. Winner, chicken dinner. I got the dinner. I don't know what you guys got. All right. I'm done being angry. I've been holding that in for like 2 weeks, man.
Well, like you said at the beginning of the broadcast, sometimes you're an angry man.
I am an angry man.
I don't see you as an angry man. When I look at you, I'm not like he's an angry man. I don't see that.
But you know me, though.
I know that you can get angry, but we can all get angry. But I don't think of you inherently as an angry person.
No, Murph, do you think I'm an angry man?
No, I agree with
Stells?
that.
No.
I don't think so. I've known you for 35 years almost.
I think internally I'm a very angry.
Probably, yeah.
I
you like to hold it in.
Doctor said I swallowed a lot of aggression when I was younger.
You like to hold it in, yeah.
I feel you there.
And that's why, honestly, like, this is why I do this show.
Do you feel better now?
I do. It is very cathartic. I feel like I'm at least I feel like I'm always complaining about people. I'm like, Dennis Leary had this thing in No Cure for Cancer stamp, and it was like, everyone's always complaining about something. This don't feel right. This don't make sense. Well, shut the fuck up, right?
Time when I call you.
He's like, I'm gonna write a book. I'm gonna call it "Shut the Fuck Up" by Dr. Dennis Leary, and I always use that as a joke with my clients because I am like the antithesis of the therapist that's always about everything is gonna be. I'm like, dude, no, like you're fucking up, or you know what, life sucks. All right, like, come on,
you gotta keep it real, man.
You got to, right? And I think it's why I think I've done as well as I have. Is that you got to sometimes tell people, like, okay, life sucks, get a helmet. And the college thing, it's like, all right, yeah, it sucks, but I've laid out a clear groundwork for why is it so damn expensive. Take some action, contact some people. I had an issue with a licensure issue that I had when I moved from Texas to Ohio, and I set a meeting and got to meet with my state representative, and they will sit down and talk with you. You make enough stink, they will pay attention. It's as simple as that. Do something about it. Stop demanding something for free. It ain't going to change. It ain't going to be some big old thing. And if you're out there, you want free college, well, then do something for it. Give your country something back then. Because if soldiers can go off to war and have half the shit bomb blown off and get a GI Bill, guess what? Your ass can go and write computer programming for the government. You can build a pipe or a big, beautiful wall as an engineer, right?
Yeah, don't rely on social media influencers. Whoever came up with that term needs to be dragged in the street and shot.
I agree. Can we make that a national?
Can
we make it in, man? Can it be like
what socialism? You said?
No, a social media influencer. That's what people call themselves. I said, what the fuck? What is that? What is that?
What the?
That's one of those things where I'm like, someone made that up and it just caught on. And yeah, me too. I'm a social media influencer. What does that even mean?
I hadn't heard that one.
Oh, yeah.
That's the first for me.
You don't want to know, man. You don't want to know.
It's basically people with a bunch of Instagram followers or Twitter followers who haven't, they're famous because they have a lot of followers.
And half the shit's like fake, man. I mean, it's like they go and take a picture like of, look, I'm at the concert, and then they leave. I had the greatest time at Lollapalooza. It's like, dude, that shit was like 99. Instagram didn't exist. It's true, man. I mean, that's a whole other show, a different day, right? So, all right, I feel better. All right, got it up and hold it in,
Well, this is therapy, like he says.
It's like an emotional enema. I just had to get it all out, right? All right. Anyway, yeah.
You owe me some money for your therapy, by the way.
I know. Can I write a check?
Sure.
It might
bounce.
Does anyone write checks anymore?
I tried writing a check not too long ago. I screwed it up so bad.
It's like Betamax. They still make you?
I haven't written a check in probably like 7 years. Yeah, I don't even know where my checkbook is.
I know.
Someone's probably out there writing checks all over town. I've lost that.
Son, your butt's writing checks. Your body can't cash. All right. We're for real this time, and we're ending this shit up. All right. So, once again, I feel better though. And it should be kind of cathartic.
You feel better. You feel better.
I know. And
somehow I feel worse.
And hopefully I brought everyone.
That's because Friday night. But.
And hopefully all the listeners are along for the ride kind of with us. Like, oh my God, I'm so pissed. Now I feel so much better. I can do something about it, right? So just don't make me contact every single one of you guys going, what did you do this week to change this? So on that note, I'm Michael Devine. On behalf of myself, Porter's Network, Bill, the armchair quarterback, can be found at the Armchair QB Show, armchairqb.net. Murph, the Magic Tone, well, available wherever Magic Tone supplies are sold. Stells,
Always good to be on.
yeah, we always appreciate you, buddy. Good, he's a good chat, man. I'm Michael Devine, and remember, everybody, next time someone asks you, "Hey, man, you a Democrat? You a Republican? You're red? You blue? Right? Left? Center? Whatever." So fuck that noise. My ass is gray. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. You be good to each other. Peace.